All right, welcome everybody to the finals of Season 1 of Custom Crisis Protocol. Today we have Thulindar versus Skull Ghost. Spent some time today making a special map just for this event based off of League of Legends. Oh, I guess I didn't hit the mute button. There we go. Oh, I accidentally muted. There we go. All right. So, Suicide Squad versus Final Fantasy Avalanche. Though I believe there is the possibility that Suicide Squad goes Autobots or Symbiotes. So it looks like Thulindar is going to win priority. Let's take a quick look at his roster here. So he is rocking Professor Farnsworth, John Wick, Vertigo, Knull, Ironhide, Loki, Prince of Lies, Deadshot, the Joker, The Wall, and Optimus Prime. And then over here, we have Yuffie, Tifa, Barrett, Aerith, the Ghoul from the Fallout TV show, Starfire, Red Hood, Raven, Orko, and Hellboy. Farnsworth is, in its own way, one of the most controversial characters in the mod. He's got a threat of one, and he's carrying a nuke. So we once again are having a hammers, and that's going along with superpowered scoundrels. Those are pretty classic. Let's put that right there. Looks like once again we will have a 20 fight. So we're in this one for the long haul. I may have gone a little overboard with terrain on this map, but I was given the idea of adding the minions, and it just seemed fun, so I may have gone a little minion crazy. So map orientation has been chosen. I haven't seen a lot of Avalanche be played, so I'll be pretty curious how they play. A lot of Thulindar's kit I'm more familiar with, having made a decent chunk of them. So taking a look at the terrain here, we've got 3 blue inhibitors that are size 3, 5 turrets that are size 2. We have the Nexus, which is size 3. We have 2 stone walls that is size 2. And then we have 6 minions that are size 1. So a lot of terrain for throwing, but no giant pieces. And I made just about all the terrain except for the minions pretty easy to stand on with custom colliders. So we shouldn't see too many terrain issues. So while I'm waiting for them to choose their forces, talk a little bit about our plans for Season 2. Season 2, we're thinking about doing a timelines kind of event where we're going to narrow down the scope of what characters are available, choose, say, 100 characters, and everyone's got to make their squads out of those characters to help kind of narrow down our play testing. Also helps us just kind of weed out the characters that we know are broken that haven't been fixed yet. "20 threats, a lot to spend, and this being their last match of the season, they're going to be playing hard. And so we're hoping that we can get a lot more participation in our second season. Our channel has grown quite a lot since then, but it does take a decent amount of time. And Custom Crisis, it's a specific thing. Not everyone's into it, but we love it. Sounds like Anthony has chosen his group. So it looks like the Symbiotes are in fact getting out. So the Symbiotes will be Knull, the Wall, John Wick, and Loki, Prince of Lies. And taking a look here, it looks like we have Raven, Hellboy, Barrett, Starfire, and Orko. So it looks like there's a little confusion about the rules. But you can re-choose your team if you want, since you didn't know the rules. So it looks like he has decided to stick with unaffiliated. Alright, so objectives have been set up. Looks like everything managed to hit floor, which is always nice. And so deployment, starting Loki, Prince of Lies. Looks like he wants to line up for a far hammer. So Barrett lines up against Loki. John Wick's going to line up in the front, right in the middle. Amanda Waller lines up there, with Raven lining up in front of John Wick. Thanks for tuning in again, Fate. Appreciate your viewership. Always better to know I'm not just talking to myself here, though I am talking for the YouTube video as well. Not just a lunatic. Raving lunatic was the phrase I was trying to get out there. Knull and his symbiotes line up right in the middle. And now he is going to put his symbiote card on the symbiotes. And he opens up with Mania. And that means Knull will also have Mania, probably. The other three characters will get random symbiotes. And Knull can choose at the beginning of his turn a symbiote to act as if he has it. Hellboy's lining up. I was really happy with how Hellboy's model turned out. And lastly, Orko will be placed. Let's see who gets what symbiotes. So Loki gets the Mayhem one, where he can throw himself and he adds the die to his character's attack rolls for each damage that he has. And then Carnage. So he'll be able to automatically cause bleed with any attacks. And John Wick getting Paint the Town Red is wacky because John Wick already has an ability when he character dazes or KOs an enemy. So that's going to be interesting. And then the wall got Riot. She can pay 3 power to give 2 dice to the next attack, and she gains aggressive. So Knull is taking Mania for his first round. Makes sense. So Knull has a long move on a medium base, so he's pretty mobile. And with that, we're going to begin this first round. See what Thullendar opens up with. So Loki makes a move towards the left hammer. He's going to try to blend in with this minion. And so that was just a simple double move. So the common opening here is to go ahead and grab this other hammer here. Skull Ghost is relatively new to the game. So we'll see if they go ahead and pick up that hammer. Because you really don't want, the opponent having 3 hammers to your 1 hammer. So is going with Starfire, so it looks like they're making the right move here and picking up a hammer. Takes a conservative spot, doesn't want to get too close to the wall. I feel like Starfire versus the wall is going to be... Starfire is going to have an edge. Knull is going next, so first the Symbiotes go. Check out the wacky symbiote model. So Symbiotes are going to take up a position on this ambush point. And what's the range on their attacks? They have a range 3 attack. So not in range of Starfire. So since out of range, see what they do with their second action. Apparently it's just going to be charge forward for the future. It's an interesting play. Hmm. So now Knull looks like is going to move to the midpoint ambush. His attacks are range 3 as well, so probably nothing in range for here. He could go for a really bold move and grab their hammer. But that would probably end up with a lot of pain. Yeah, you cannot hear the players, with the exception of the post game. And so that is going to end Knull's turn. He's just going to go ahead and stand on the middle point. So that makes it Hellhound's turn, also known as Skull Ghost. I gotta admit, I was expecting Knull to have a hammer, but John Wick's a pretty good hammer person as well. But I do imagine Raven's gonna probably step up, pick up a hammer, and take a swing at Knull. The problem with this version of Knull, who has not been balanced yet, is he currently has a healing factor of 3. So Raven is going. Raven's known to be a pretty good character. Her soul token is pretty strong. Whoever has it gets 2 rerolls and removes the damage. Let's see here. And she will go ahead, pick up a hammer, and is going to hit Knull with a Darkness Bolt, which will be a 7-die attack, either Mystic or Energy. And after the attack is resolved, gain power based off of damage dealt. So first attack of the day. You forgot your hammer die, and that's a non-optional die. And does not do anything. Oh, yeah, they're using the transformer die, and so it got confused. It was in fact a critical. So 2 damage does go through on Knull. Yeah, I got a little creative with some of the dice and tried to match what, some other custom dice do and put special symbols on the critical. I'm not sure if it was a good idea or not, but it's mostly because it ends up getting really confused sounding with me talking over them is the reason for it. We're considering doing a format on some of these where I'm not here and it's just them, but right now they're talking a bunch while I'm talking and it's just hard to hear what's going on with that many people talking. So it looks like Raven will be throwing a blue inhibitor. Two successes so far. So it's looking like 2 damage goes through onto Knull. Be interesting to see if they can get enough damage into Knull to perhaps get him on his injured side before that healing factor kicks in. And so with that, that ends Raven's turn. Pretty successful, picking up a hammer and getting 4 damage into Knull. Now John Wick is going to go ahead and pick up a hammer, I assume. Looks like John Wick is interested in heading to the left flank after that. Picks up a hammer. Not quite satisfied with the John Wick model. Like, he looks pretty John Wicky from this view, but from this view, the hair color is just a little light. He's also pointing the gun in kind of a funny way, but I think I'm going to do a different John Wick model. So that was it. That was all John Wick was doing, securing a hammer and an ambush point. So that leaves just the wall, who we assume will move up to the ambush point. So let's see what Hellhound responds with. So it's opening up with Barrett. Barrett looks like a long range guy, a range 5 builder, or in a range 4 spender that ignores line of sight and cover, and a beam 3 with double crit explosions. Shh. So shooting Loki with a gun arm. Whoops. So it looks like 3 successes on both sides because Loki got to count Avalanche's skull. Barrett is from Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VII, in fact. And that ends Barrett's turn. Looks like there was a little confusion. Barrett's only got a small move instead of a medium, but they have got it all sorted out. So now deciding what to do with Wall. Looks like Wall will step up to the ambush point to take a shot at Starfire. She has rapid fire pistols, as I recall. Yeah, automatic double tap. So it'll be 2 strength 4 shots. So first shot. Looks like 2 successes with a critical. So the offense ends up with 3, and now there's a reroll because of Inspirational Genius on Wall. So Starfire will take 2 damage. So the second shot. Let's see, with the reroll, ooh, 0 successes on the defense with 3 successes. So Starfire gets knocked down to just 1 health left. And now Wall will pay 3 for Focus My Target, which will allow another character to make an attack at the cost of 0 at the same character. So now the Symbiotes will be using a Tendril attack on Starfire, hoping for a daze. Wow, the Grunts hit 5 with no successes. And so Starfire does get dazed. So the hammer gets dropped, but I don't think there's going to be any way for Thulindar to get a hold of it. So maybe Orko will make a desperate run out there for a hammer. He does have a long move. So Orko will be going. He looks like he's lining up for that hammer. Orko's a guy that generally you want on your back line, not your front line. Not a lot of defense. So yeah, he decides he's just gonna shoot the created symbiotes with his unreliable magic. It's a gainer that's got a bunch of effects, but for every skull that Orko rolls, the opponent gets to remove a special rule. 2 shields blocked by the symbiotes already. Oh. But that's 5. That's enough to go ahead and take the symbiotes out. And that means that the Mania card is no longer available for the rest of the game for Knull. So getting rid of the long move on Knull was a pretty big move. And so now it's just Hellboy left. So let's see. Hellboy, he's got a range 4 attack that's a gainer and a range 2 that's a builder. So maybe you take a shot at Knull. I figure he'll either step up to take a shot at Hellboy or, at Loki or Knull. So he opens up with the move. Medium move on a medium base is a pretty decent amount of movement. And let's see, is he within range 2 of Knull? So he might just contest the point. Because currently it's a 5-3 point shift. He can make that 5-4 if Hellboy steps forward. Still not within range 2. So it looks like he does just want to go ahead and step onto the point. And looks like that will end round 1 with Hellboy contesting the point, staring Knull down on his throne. So it ends up being 4 points for Thulindar and 3 points for Hellhound. And nothing that really has to be done in relation to the crises. Pretty basic ones. So I'm pretty confident that we'll see Knull as the opening move here. I'll get that 3 points of healing in. So this turn, Knull will be using Mayhem. Get a little bit of movement tech. And get to add additional dice based off of damage on the opponent. All right. Oh, wait, no, it's damage, extra damage based off of the damage on Knull. How have I not fixed that yet? Yeah, it was one of my first ideas for a character. There's like he's already been nerfed, but none of those nerfs are going into effect until after the season. He has an 8 threat, but 8 threats are really, really hard to balance because the only one we have to base it off of is Dormammu, who's a substandard character. And it's not like all 8 threats are supposed to be substandard. So we do open up with Knull, who is going to create another symbiote. Now he gets to choose another symbiote card from the symbiote deck. And so he chooses Scream, which gives him a Sonic Shriek Beam, and he gets to add 1 die to defense rolls when defending against energy attacks. Now Knull also has an attack that needed to be nerfed. This dark energy manipulation, a beam that if you do damage, increase the damage by 2. Like that one's pretty broken. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean Hulk's a 6, so you're supposed to make a character be 33% better than a Hulk when you're making an 8 threat. So it looks like something was thrown and a brace played. So he's going to do a living abyss manipulation. So this is going to end up being an 11 die thing because of Mayhem's 4 extra dice. So it looks like Raven has given Hellboy the Soul Shield. So he will now have 2 rerolls. So only 5 successes on that attack. So far there's 2 rolls on the defense. 3, 4 successes. So only 1 damage went through on an 11 die attack. I suspect they were hoping a little bit more on that. But it looks like they did get their stagger trigger. Now Knull still has a second attack. Yeah, MCP dice, man. They can be cruel. So the second attack, oof, that is a lot of blanks. So it looks like 3 damage goes through. So I really that was just about as good as they could have gotten for Barrett there. So after reducing the damage, he only ended up taking 3 damage facing up against Knull. Knull's already done his throw, right? No, I guess he hasn't done his. Oh yeah, he did his throw. There was a brace. Can I get a little clarification here? At the very beginning of that round, he used brace for impact on something. Oh, okay. Knull's pounce. All right. Thank you very much for the clarification. All right. So Knull ends up throwing Hellboy away, and that will end Knull's turn. Or wait, no, I guess he has one more trick. So he heals his 3 from the healing factor, and that will end his turn. A very uneventful turn for Knull. I'm Starfire. Seems like she should pick her hammer back up. Starfire feels like the kind of character that probably has some move tech on her. No? Oh no, yeah, she's got FTL flight. So she could move herself to pick up the hammer and show the wall who's boss. Going over their options. Oh, decides to do a move to it instead of use her tech. This feels like a move born out of inexperience. I mean, why she wouldn't pick up the hammer before doing a Nova Burst? I mean, maybe because wants a throw? I don't know. So this is a pretty big hit. Oh, not a very good roll, though. Looks like 3 successes on the offense to none for the defense. So Waller's going to go ahead and move using her aggressive. I just don't understand why Starfire wouldn't pick up the hammer. Just feels like a misplay. So Waller goes ahead and goes. She'll pick up the hammer. So now I assume she's just going to do some rat-a-tat-tat on Starfire. So Amanda is going to be using Contempt for the Weak. Yeah, attack action means that. And what is it that you're using? Oh, okay. Yeah, you get extra dice on both attacks. So this ends up with the hammer being two 7-die attacks with the pistol. Oh, really good defensive roll. Manages to block all of the damage from the first shot. See if she can get lucky on the second shot. Not a lot of damage getting through here. No damage. Wow. The Symbiotes dice are dicing. Wall still has an action. So she pays 2 to go ahead and move on to the point. And just once again firing the pistols. So these will just be 5-die attacks. So it looks like nothing on the defense. 2 damage gets through, it looks like. And then the double tap. Oh, this was a roll. Wow. So Starfire plays Recalibration Matrix. No, Recalibration Matrix happens after all other rerolls. You did. So Starfire does survive with the Recalibration Matrix play. I don't know if anyone else is going to get over there to finish her off or not. Symbiotes might do it, but that will end Waller's turn. hey, I just got another follower. Woohoo! So Orko moves forward and will do unreliable magic on Waller. Oh no, he's pulling out the when it works, it works. This is probably one of the most broken attacks in the game right now. He has been nerfed, but as of right now, he rolls 5 dice. He gets to explode crits and wilds as if they, hits and wilds as if they're crits, and rolls additional dice. So only 1 damage gets through. It didn't work. So Orko had a pretty disappointing turn there. So John Wick or Loki are next. Thulendar does like his Loki. I would not be surprised if he opens up with that here. John Wick is not currently in a great position to do John Wick stuff. So it looks like he's lining up Loki to head to the middle. Lining up a shot at Raven. Some mischief and magics. Excuse me. And so Loki does move forward. And does do mischief and magics. And will be targeting Raven. Oh, 6 dice plus a hammer. Pretty good roll. So it's looking like 4 damage goes through on Raven. But no triggers happened. He doesn't have a throw, does he? No. Not sure what Loki is considering. Looks like that will end Loki's turn. So Raven, Hellboy, or Barrett. They're just lined right up there. Not unreasonable to think they could all focus fire down either Knull or Loki. Thulindar only has John Wick left at this point, so not so many things to worry about. Hellhound decides to go with Hellboy. He's able to remove the special condition with his ability, so he does have 2 actions. The power on the soul token ability, the soul self, it is Raven gets the power. And can you tell him to unmute me? Yeah, no, we did discuss this before. It's worded poorly, but Raven gets the power. It's yeah, at the start, and Raven gets the power at the start of her activation. No problem. Yeah. All right. Yeah. There's been a bit of confusion about that card. And so patch up is played on Raven. Then Hellboy is just going to pull out his Good Samaritan, I'm assuming. So he's firing his Good Samaritan at Loki. It's a gainer. Because he's within range 3, he can reroll 1 attack die. And you cannot use reactive superpowers during this attack. Which means Loki can't use his hammer, his skull shtick. Oh, actually, that's not a reactive superpower, so he can use the skull. So Hellboy did get to heal 2, one from the soul token from Raven and one from his own natural healing abilities. My cat's getting in the way and being annoying. Just so you can see, the difference is, like, you see missing score, says active action. That's the kind of card that takes an action. So Hellboy does still have one more action. So Hellboy uses the second action to once again step up on Knull. Which, I mean, I can really picture, Hellboy fighting Knull. Seems like the kind of person he'd be facing up against. And so now John Wick. I'm assuming that, no, Barrett's probably not quite within range. So if John Wick wants to get an attack in, he will have to move, but that also means probably getting off the point. He might be able to just barely stay on the point and get within range of 3 of Barrett. So, looks like Skull will be passing. So it's now either Barrett or Raven. Feels like a good chance Barrett just stays on his point and puts a couple of pot shots into Loki. Raven's got 4 powers, so can probably pull at least one fun thing out, like Astral Incursion. But it looks like he will go with Barrett. Barrett's got a gun arm and a grenade bomb, both online. A little luck, he could maybe go gun arm, get 3 power, and do a catastrophe. But I think grenade bomb is probably more effective for him right now. So this is going into Loki. So far, it is 3 successes to 2. Loki does not get to do any chip damage since there was no skulls rolled by the opponent. So for Barrett's second action, I mean, Big Boy is a pretty large explosive. Looks like he's choosing fire, so you just it's rolling 4 dice. If they get any crits or wilds, they suffer damage. If they suffer any damage this way, they get incinerated. That is not an attack. So Barrett still has 1 action. And looks like he will just do gun arm again at Loki. No successes on the defense. And 2 successes. Oh, the skull does give him 1. So Loki ends up taking 1 damage, and Barrett takes 1 damage. And that will end Barrett's turn. Now John Wick has to go. So John Wick looks like he's considering moving forward. This little red minion is popular today. So John Wick moves forward. Both of his attacks are available. So he's going to use his Heckler and Coke because he's not within 1 of anybody, so he will not get to use the rerolls. So 6 dice versus 4 dice. Doesn't look like Wick is doing much this time. So he gets to turn one of the things into a blank because he rolled a skull. So 1 damage did get through. And because of Carnage, he also gets the bleed special effect. And that will be the end of John Wick's turn. So all we have left now is Raven. Looks like considering a patch-up play. So John Wick goes ahead and patches Loki up for 2. That's the end of John Wick's turn. Now we move on to Raven. So I am only coming in to comment on things that are not optional, and Raven's power that she gains at the beginning of her activation is not optional. You get it. Raven gets a power at the beginning of her phase, or of her activation. Did you give it to her? No. Cool. So a size 2 is being thrown at Loki by Raven. Deciding whether or not he wants to brace. He does decide to brace. So this will be a darkness bolt into Loki. 6 energy into Loki. And again, hammer dice are not optional, so you forgot your hammer die. So 5 successes to 1 success. Oh, 2 counting the skull. And so 3 damage goes to Loki. Loki responds with an oh my, what a pity. Doing 1 damage to Raven. And it's just going to go ahead and do a darkness bolt again, hoping for 2 damage to go ahead and daze Loki. Loki biffs it. 4 successes to none. Looks like Loki will go ahead and play Recalibration Matrix in an effort to survive. Oh, and the Recalibration Matrix goes even worse. So Loki is dazed. He drops a hammer. Don't think Raven can get it, but I can be wrong about these things. Just double checking, did you give yourself the 2 power for that 2 damage there, Raven? Okay, there it is. Alright, you just got it. Okay, cool. So all Raven has left to do is she can do a move, which I mean, she could move and pick up the hammer. But again, does not pick up the hammer? I don't know what all this hammer avoidance is from Hellhound. And that will end round 2. So it looks like it'll be 3 points to 4 points. Or no, 3 to 3. No, 3 to 2. Okay. So Symbiotes do increase their lead just a little bit, and they still have priority. And with that, we begin round 3. So far, no one is successfully scoring on a path to do a round 4 victory. Let's see what happens with the Symbiotes this turn, if they can increase their lead more. Knull chooses Mayhem once again as his symbiote. But we'll be opening up with the wall, trying to take down Starfire. May be able to eliminate both Orko and Starfire here. I would go into Starfire with the 5-die attacks and then pump up on Orko for the 7. So let's see what the wall decides to do. Oh, she actually has just enough power. So she does decide just to go pistols into Starfire without using the pump up from the symbiote. So far it's looking like 3 successes to 1 success, which I believe would be enough. And Starfire is eliminated. And so now Orko's going to get hit with 2 7-die. I'm assuming. Oh, no, does not decide to pump it up. Confident in the ability just to take Orko down. Orko gets 2 successes, so only takes 1. And then the second attack from the walls, double tap. So far Orko has survived. Then she pays 2 for logistical support. Moves herself towards the center. Not sure what else Waller could be doing right now. Oh, maybe he's trying to do another logistical support. He's going to go ahead and move Knull. Just wanted a slight adjustment. I'm not really sure what that's for. So that's the end of Waller's turn. Let's see how Hellhound responds. I would be considering trying to get Loki killed with Hellboy, maybe. I mean, at this point, his Beast of the Apocalypse would be an 8 die area 2. That's pretty good. Yeah. But he needs one more power, so you can do a Good Samaritan. So I would. So he's going to go with. He's going with Right Hand of Doom, which I don't think I would do. I would go with Good Samaritan for the guaranteed 1 power. Yeah, see? He just. So yeah, the oh my, what a pity was actually probably a mistake on Loki's part here, because it did give Barrett the power to do his big attack. So Loki takes the damage for being thrown, and John Wick's got to dodge Loki's body. Looks like he blocks 2 of the 3 damage. And so, yeah, I mean, if it was me, I definitely would be going with the Apocalypse. So this will be 8 energy going into these 3. I think Thulindar is just now realizing that his what a pity was not a good plan. So it looks like we're starting with Loki here. Not a very good roll. So not a very good attack into Loki. Let's see if he manages to do better on Wick. Looks like 4 successes to 2 success. No, 3 into 1. So John Wick will take 2 damage and get incinerated. There's some other weird thing. Oh, he gets the horns. So it's still Knull, and it is possible that this is also reaching the Symbiotes, which would be a nice little bonus for him. Now maybe he can make it up here with those mediocre rolls with one huge roll from Knull. So it looks like the Symbiotes do get taken out. Okay. Yeah, no, you guys are messing up there. Back up. Oh my, what a pity. Oh wait, no, I'm wrong. The allied character within 3. Okay. I didn't see that part. Never mind. And so Hellboy does in fact go down from oh my, what a pity. Not a good person to stand next to during an area effect attack, Loki. So that was a shortened end to Hellboy's turn. It's just not looking great for a Hellhound right now. So he decides to go with John Wick. He's going to pay 3 to do not where he thought he was, which allows him to do either a hit and run or a charge. So he's charging Barrett with a Heckler and Coke, but he will get to reroll all of his dice here. So 6 die physical versus 4 defense. So it looks like 4 successes to 2 successes. Barrett takes 2 damage. Barrett gains bleed because of the carnage. Symbiote. And now he's going to pick up the hammer. So he's doing a gun fu attack into Barrett. This will then allow him to place within one, and he's hoping to get an attack on Raven as well. But not a great roll. No wilds. It looks like it'll just be 1 damage. So yeah, just 1 damage. Not the turn he was hoping for with John Wick. And now Barrett's just got those 2 hammers in his eyes. So yeah, I would definitely be eyeing John Wick right now with either Barrett or Raven. Solindar's got Knull and Loki left, so I mean, there's a lot of those are both big players, and they're both doing pretty good on power. Hellhound could definitely use the points that you get from those hammers. I mean, all 3 of the characters have interesting options available. Orko, I would wait until the end. Go pick this up and try to take the wall down. Maybe get her hammer. Looks like they have decided to go with Barrett and is going to do the fire attack again. Or not attack, fire special ability in an attempt to get. Oh, John Wick's already incinerated, so. Looks like nothing happens. So that was just wasted power right there. And so now he's going to spend 2 power to do Grenade Bomb. John Wick rolls perfect. 3 dice, 3 dice. So 1 damage gets through after using Baba Yaga to change one of these into a blank. And once again, oh my, what a pity. Like, that power is just brutal. And that's not even from a custom card. Loki does take 1 damage from the grenade explosion. So he's going to fire another bomb into John Wick, hoping not to roll a skull to daze himself. Oh, 6 successes and no skulls. So John Wick will drop 2 hammers. Again, like, is he really not going to pick up a hammer? I guess at this point there was no reason to pick up a hammer because of the bleed. So Barrett does end up being dazed. I mean, Raven would be really scary with 3 hammers, but Loki's gonna go grab him, I'm pretty sure. Probably gonna grab them and then try to murder Raven. So Loki's stolen a couple of Thor's old hammers. Been a very low-scoring game overall. The ambush tokens have been kind of ignored. Alright, so Mayhem or Loki uses Mayhem's Pounce. One success so far. Blocks all 3. I mean, if Loki doesn't take Raven down, Raven will almost certainly be able to take Loki down. So this will be an 8-die Mystic. Oh, and that. So it's going to be an 11-die attack with anger issues. Oof. Good luck, Raven. Pretty good roll. Oof. Raven does get dazed. Drops a hammer. So Loki is now running around with 3 hammers. Can you adjust one of your hammers so that they're all laying flat on your thing? To the middle one, yeah. There we go. You had it. Thank you. So all 4 hammers Knull has now. Or, I mean, the symbiotes have now. The Orca moves onto the point and then is going to do a when it works into Waller. Okay, so Wall redirects the attack into Knull. Ooh. So it looks like just enough. Uh, so Waller does take just enough to go ahead and get dazed and drop a hammer. Um, wait. I, I didn't you do 1 point of damage to the wall, dazing her? Oh, that's right. It was to Knull. That's right. Okay, thank you. That's right. Knull. It was a redirected attack into Knull. I completely forgot about that. So now all that's left is Knull. So as of right now, the symbiotes are going to be scoring 5 points. So Knull creates another symbiote. Let's see what he chooses for the symbiote this time. And so Agony is the latest one. So damage reduction and does not suffer damage from collisions with other characters. Now Knull moves in on Orko or Orko. And now he's going to spend 2 to pounce using this card. And that will just auto daze Orko. And he rolled it just for the heck of it and got 2 skulls. So I don't know if Knull can really do much more. And so that is dazing and KOing Hellhound's entire turn, or entire team this turn. So that gives 6 points to 0 points. Well, apparently he's going to give up a point to go back to the middle. Oh, wait, no, it's a point either way. He didn't have this point controlled. Symbiotes can't control points. And so that will end the round. So that's 5 points to 0 points. Tholendar's favor. So the Symbiotes only need 4 points to win this game and have all 4 hammers. Hellhound does have priority. Not nearly as powered up as you would hope to be after getting beaten down so badly, too. But Raven, I assume Raven is going to be a big thing here. Like Raven will, I assume Raven will open with murder of Loki. Knull's deciding on what symbiote to take and decides with Carnage. So Hellhound will open up with Raven. Why would you just do basic attack? I mean, Astral Incursion. Now throwing this blue inhibitor into Loki. Pretty good roll. Actually blocks all 4 damage. Wow. Hellhound is just not having a good game here. So it looks like 3 successes for offense. So so I so that was definitely not the turn that Raven needed. So Loki activates with Clever Ploy, which is going to be an area 3 with 8 dice. 12 die, I'm sorry, because of Mayhem. And so this could very well be the end of the game right here. So this is into Raven. So Raven takes only 1 damage, but it's really Barrett that needs to be standing. The Raven gets moved forward by Loki's attack. Now Raven will go ahead and give the Soul Shield to Barrett. Oh, 7 successes for the attack, plus counting skulls. That's 9 successes. And that eliminates Barrett. I don't know how they win now. I mean, Loki still has an action even, and you can just run away. But does not choose to run away. Raven takes the soul token back and is now getting attacked with mischief and mayhem, which is just, yeah. That looks like that ends Raven as well. Like, where's Hellboy is right there. Sounds like a concession has occurred. Let's go ahead and get them in here.
That was so frustrating.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so
Getting
sorry, Skull Ghost. That was rough to watch.
It's okay, man. Don't worry about it, brother.
Man.
on Loki and Carnage on John Wick. Although Carnage didn't even do anything on John Wick, but Mayhem on Loki was insane.
Yeah,
Jesus
Mayhem on Loki
Christ.
was insane, especially, the turns that you're also giving it to Knull. Like,
Yeah.
that was just brutal. And, like, every
Having
time
11 or 12,
Skull
having
had
11 or
dice.
12 Emerald builders is insane.
It did fuck all nothing. That was I guess if I had to say, I'm not gonna lie, probably should not have sent Starfire up to the wall. I probably should have traded her out with Tifa. That was the last decision I made in the army, and I should have done Tifa.
Yeah.
That was my fault. Now I'll admit that mistake, but I feel like the list was solid. If I'm being honest, it's just
No, your list was solid.
the amount of goddamn it was really just dice. I just couldn't do a
Yeah.
damn
Yeah, your
thing.
dice just were not treating you well today. It was unfortunate, for the finale to kind of end that way, where you were just being diced to death. But
Yeah.
that's custom crisis protocol for you.
Yeah, that's the game for you.
And
This
once
is
again, Loki may have been the most broken character in the game.
yeah, no
I
shit.
think
Jesus
so.
Christ.
It is just
It's
ridiculous how effective he is.
being only a power 5 and being able to fucking oh my what a pity is so goddamn good.
Yeah. Like they need to put a once a turn on that or something.
Yeah.
Because that, yeah.
One turn would probably be okay on it. Yeah.
And then clever ploy. Clever ploy plus mayhem was just
You
a
see,
brutal
I'm
combo.
gonna be real here. The moment I saw Carnage on John Wick, I was like, okay. And then there's May, and then there's Riot, and then there's Mayhem, and then
I
there's
mean, to be fair, Carnage didn't even do anything on John
no,
Wick.
he didn't do much.
He
I'll
just-
give you credit. He didn't do
Yeah.
much, but my God, you got good symbiotes for your guys.
I did. I
You
did get
can't
good stuff.
deny that.
Yeah,
Riot was
well,
really effective on the wall. Mayhem was really effective on Loki. I got some good luck.
That was
A lot of good luck.
this is probably the last time this version of Knull will ever get played.
Probably,
His nerf
and
is
that
incoming.
is entirely fair. This version of Knull is just broken.
Yeah, I've got some ideas. I suspect he probably won't even be in next season if we do the timelines thing.
That's probably the right call.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was a game to watch. It's
but you don't have to be sugar. That was so shit.
yeah, it's just it's hard when a match is that one-sided. When
I'm gonna
you
be
weren't doing
okay.
things wrong.
Let's point something out here. The perfect example was Raven going after Loki. Let's be real
Yeah.
here. Loki has 3 defense on energy. Raven has 6. She technically has a 3 higher chance to do to stuff to Loki.
Yeah.
With both attacks, used her overpowered throw, which that needs to be changed. I'm being a bit real. I don't know if that needs to be changed or not. It's a good throw ability for 2. Use the throw. He blocks everything with the throw, and then the second attack around does nothing. And the only
Yeah.
times I was ever able to do anything was when I had to sacrifice a character to do it.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous.
That was
Like just 2 more
Thunder
damage
again, nothing
there.
against you, but just I don't know what I think my luck this week, it's been swinging like a pendulum, and I think this was the pendulum going the other way. And you know what? I'm fine with that. It's okay. It's frustrating now, but considering that how this week's been, I'll take that. It's no problem.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, you still won $75. So,
Oh, that's nice. I'll
um
take that.
yeah, just send me whatever ways you have of getting money, like PayPal, Zelle, or whatever like that, and I'll get it sorted.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I have a PayPal. I'll send it to you.
cool. And Anthony, I can just I know you, so
Yeah,
we can
I'll be
take
seeing
care
you
of that.
tomorrow for a game. So
Yeah. Um,
That sucks. That was the final game, but Thunder GG, good job.
yeah, you are truly the champion of season 1.
You're the champion season 1, brother.
I'm gonna put a little plaque up here, and your name will be on it for the entire life of this mod.
however long that is, hopefully a very long time.
Hopefully
Hopefully a
for a
very
while.
long time.
We're getting some new members here and there.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
our membership has grown quite solidly, like reliably getting members, every week.
Mhm.
So yeah, well, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off and make myself a delicious burrito,
That sounds good, brother.
and I will post some information about season 2 here shortly, and we can talk as a group of what we want to do with it. Like it sounds
Okay.
like
Alright.
the timeline idea is everyone's most popular option so far, but I want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to talk about it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
Sounds
not like 100% set on the timelines, but I'm not opposed to it either.
Mhm.
So it's like it very well may end up being the favorite.
All right. Well, then, until next time, I'll bid you all farewell. Thank you to those viewers who tuned in. There's going to be some videos coming out in this next couple of weeks where we're highlighting affiliations. So yeah, watch for the YouTube channel for that. Until next time, goodbye, everybody.